A teacher from a high school in Alexandra has been arrested after an investigation implicating 6 officials in a cash for posts scandal. The Gauteng Department of Education says the investigation was triggered by an anonymous tip-off regarding an alleged cash in exchange for posts corruption. For more on this, as you can see behind me, I'm joined by Gauteng Department of Education spokesperson Steve Mabona. Steve, thank you so much for coming through this Friday afternoon. Talk to me about the scandal. How did you come to know of these people, that there's 6 officials and leading to the arrest of this one teacher now?
Thank you very much. Look, like as you've indicated, we received a tip-off that there's jobs that are sold at a certain school. And when we send our investigator to probe, then the said educator, then offered to bribe our investigator. And he actually succumbed and said, look, let's do it. But then, on the other hand, he actually interacted with the police. They conducted an entrapment, and he was arrested because he then offered 10,000 so that our investigator can drop the case. So subsequent to that, we then had to go to other officials that are involved, which is 2 HR practitioners, the very same GA officials that were appointed. We had to also go to them, and the principal. We are saying to them, they need to tell us why we must not suspend them. So we've sent already the correspondence to them to say we are on the verge of suspending them, and so that our investigation can continue.
And this is the other 5 officials, is it? The other 6 officials that you are corresponding with in terms of determining whether they should be suspended or not?
Definitely, all of them, 6, including the educator. So they will be suspended, and we'll continue with the departmental investigation. But the evidence at our disposal, really dictates that there's a case for them to really answer, because those GAs that were appointed, they were backdated to...
What are GAs? Sorry.
General assistants.
General assistants.
They were backdated to April, meaning that in the system they were appointed in April. Meanwhile, the interviews were conducted actually in June. So that's fraud, and that's corruption. We are saying the educator then instructed the GAs, to pay in this bank account the amount that was backdated, and we are saying we can't tolerate that gratuity that is expected of our employees, whether it's small or big. But the fact remains that it's corruption, something that we're not going to tolerate.
Are you able to quantify the losses to yourselves in the education system at this particular point?
Look, on these 2 cases, we are looking at over 40,000 that we paid people for doing nothing, because we paid them for 2 months for not working for that money. But they then withdrew or transferred that money to the said educator, and hence we are saying he must then face the music and be answerable to the deeds, and the principal as well, and everyone that is involved.
I imagine then, Steve, that desperation for a job is understandable in the kind of environment we have in the country of unemployment. But I imagine that surely these general assistants, these GAs that were willing to take part in this scheme are not the kind of people you want in the department.
Definitely. I mean, any form of corruption we're not going to tolerate. Like we know that there's reports that we received from Corruption Watch to say there were some elements of corruption in some of our schools. We are following through all those cases, and we are saying to the members of the public, if they detect any wrongdoing in our environment, they need to alert us, and we'll take action that is decisive.
In fact, I wanted to ask you, how widespread do you believe this jobs for cash situation is in Gauteng, in the education system? Because there have been previous reports.
Look, what we are doing, because parallel to our departmental investigation, we are now involving the police to say, look at the modus operandi, go to other districts, let's investigate and make sure that those that are near, probably they might lead us to other employees who are involved in such a thing. So this is a deterrent actually to all other employees who might be involved in such activities, to say we will be on you, we are watching, and we're not going to leave any stone unturned.
Great. Steve Mabona, thank you so much for coming through on a Friday afternoon.